Welcome to the Q&A session with Miriam Kim, me, and today we have special guest Ian, our main man of the judges, the chairman of the board. How you guys doing? Hold on, I'm gonna turn this off. There we go. Hi there, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh, good.
Oh yes. Good evening. Good evening.
Oh, it's so good to see you guys. I rushed home just to make sure we could get this in today.
I'm getting kicked back though.
What?
I'm hearing myself back to me.
Oh, are you? Hold on. That's me. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
There we go.
I think that's better. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah. Last time I used StreamYard, I was doing a live singing thing, so I still had the settings for singing. Ooh, is that Dolly Parton in the background?
Yes, sir. I mean, this is Country Week, right?
Yes, it sure is Country Week. I'm so excited about. We've gotten a lot of submissions already for that, so it's this one I'm really excited about. It's something that when we're doing the genre pieces, I sometimes worry about it because this is something we're trying out this year, and I've really wanted to bring the genre piece on for a few years because a lot of people in genres don't think that if they only sing rock or they only sing country or hip hop or rap, or they don't think they have a chance in the Karaoke World Championships, and they do have a chance. We've seen country and rock win. I've seen hip hop win in duets in Finland a few years ago, and all music is on the board. So what we wanted to really do is find those best singers and from each one of those genres to come and compete. However, even outside the genre rounds, they can actually do whatever they want. They don't have to stick with the genre that they tried out in. So, yeah. And hello, Miriam.
Hello.
How are you doing? I've switched up the way I did my lighting. I hope you like it.
It looks great.
Clean, right?
Yes. I love it.
Yeah. And today we have the gold curtain behind us because we're going for the gold. So, oh yeah, I got to spend time with yesterday with at a certain point. I believe we had 3 world champs. We had Lance in the room. I had Shia in the room and Garvando in the room. And it's been a while since that has happened. So it was really cool. Even though we were celebrating something that wasn't so great, it was amazing to be in the room with them because it's just been way, way, way too long. And got to hear them each perform, and it just blew me back to back in the day when we were able to be on stage. And it was cool because we were able to be on stage. Look at all the Lover Game. Well, look, we got Grant, who I'm sure Grant is actually moving on. So if you guys were watching last year, Grant is going straight into divisionals. He was a U.S. champion last year going to Worlds. And so because he didn't win Worlds, he gets a free pass back in. He's going straight to divisionals. So he has not been competing so far. And I'm sure he's going to have a lot of questions for us because all of you guys have been submitting videos, and sometimes you didn't make it and you tried again and then made it. So you're getting that vetting process. You're getting that practice where Grant has been watching all of you. And he's like, what should I sing? We got Nathan out there.
Hi, Nathan.
Watching. Sammy, who's in Las Vegas, and I really hope to see her video at some point. And we also have Monique, who's in divisionals. And last year she was in our U.S. finals too. And Grant says he is so confused. He really is, because this year we really changed up a lot of things. Again, we are going into another year of pandemic, and even though we're almost out of it, like a lot of states are still shut down. When I was in Washington and I came from Vegas, ooh, look, we got world champ Garvando Hamilton out there.
We got Jeff in the house.
We got
What's
Jeff,
going on, Jeff?
divisional finalist right here.
Love it.
When I was in Washington, it was really weird because most of the places are requiring you to wear masks. And in Vegas, we stopped. And when you stop for a while, it just feels like it's sort of like going. When I went there, it was like a shock because it was like, whoa, wait, oh yeah, we're still in this. We're still in this, which is another reason why we're not bringing it back to the stage for nationals. We've actually had a lot of interest this year from a lot of venues who were like, hey, we want to bring the nationals here. As soon as we opened up in Vegas, we got some calls. We got some calls from other states also that wanted to hold the national finals. And we still want to stay safe. There's still other variants out there, especially what's going on. I'm watching in the other countries. In China, they're having another shutdown. India, Pakistan, the UK. So we want to make sure that we don't cause you guys to get sick because we're flying out to Vegas to hold a big, fun competition. And it's sort of a dedication. Like we're dedicated to that. It's really tempting to do it, but we can't do it this year. And look, and I love the camaraderie here. It's like Grant last year went against Garvando for the gold, and then Garvando won the gold, and Grant is still like, he's killing it. Yeah, always killing it. So it's always great camaraderie. Today, there are things that I want to talk about. And also, if you have questions, please submit it. We have all these people watching right now. And also share this to other Facebook pages, to Instagram, send it to, if you're in singing groups, any of those quarantine groups or any singing groups on Facebook, send it to them. Invite them to this Q&A. Get them to know what the Karaoke World Championships is about. But we're going to be talking about, a lot of it's going to be on judging and scoring and looking for that next world champ. And I always feel like we do touch on that every episode, but really it's especially special because we have Ian here, who is like, he's the head of all the judges without being, what do we call it? We call it the
chairman of the jury?
The chairman of the jury.
Is that what it is?
Yes, chairman of the jury. And he's been in on every single round. He has watched every single round. And along with two other judges, I believe, also have watched every judge. We got Trevor, and I know Thomas has watched them. He hasn't judged all of them. But who is the other one? Is it Garvando? Garvando, I know, has judged a lot of them too. But and then we've had other celebrity judges. So we have a lot of consistency. Earlier this week, we actually had someone ask again, because this is a common question, can I resubmit a video from a prior audition I did for this year if I didn't move on? And the answer ended up being no. And part of the reason is because our judges have already seen your video. And it's also posted on the website. So if it wasn't, during our show, we only show the top one that the singers won with. So that's their top performance. So the other video isn't shown on the showcase. However, we do put it on the website, and we do tell people, hey, go to the website to watch. So it is still up there, and it has been posted and viewed multiple times. So we want fresh videos. Also, we want fresh videos because if you didn't move on from that day and you did that song, make a new video. There might be a reason. There might be the video quality. It could have been you were just not up to par that day. Maybe you were really raspy, or your enunciation was bad. Like, it's always best to do a brand new video. Another thing that I want to talk about today is time management when you're doing this, because while we don't want you to be rushed, you also shouldn't be taking 8 hours of a day trying to make a video. This should be nice and easy and streamlined. So I'm going to shut up for a while, and I'm going to, because I just came in all gangbusters here, and Miriam also, have you been doing your coaches corner show?
You know what? I put that on pause mainly because I was trying to. Things got a little crazy on my end, and I was feeling under the weather, and with other production duties, it kind of became kind of on the back burner. I'm hoping to get it restarted again,
Yeah.
and bring a fresh new take on it.
Yeah.
But for now, it is on hiatus.
But we can cover some of that stuff here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have to second what Josh says about resubmitting a video you've already done. Part of the Karaoke World Championships, part of this competition that I absolutely adore, is the learning that comes with it. And we try and challenge our singers to go ahead and evaluate their videos. Just resubmitting a video, it's like, if it didn't work that last time, I mean, realistically, what do you think that you're going to get a different score altogether that's going to be higher? Half of the judging panel is the same. So chances are it may or may not play in your favor. Not to mention, maybe when you filmed it, you were not in the best vocal shape. There could have been a lot of different factors. So the reason we say no on resubmitting those videos is we want you to go back to those videos and find out where you could have lost the points, and then refilm it so that you can gain those points back. So did you dress up? No. Then go back and refilm that same video or that same song, but dress up. That could have been the key thing. Or, was it in the wrong key? Was it a little too, you're pushing a little too hard and it just didn't sit right in that sweet spot? Then go back and lower the key and do it again. We're not saying you can't submit the same song. We just want you to redo the video and give us a better version, taking into consideration the judging criteria. So obviously, if you're going to resubmit a song, like let's say off the top of my head, and I don't know, you're going to sing, I don't know, what is it?
My Way.
What's a good song? Well, that's okay. My Way. Let's say you're going to sing My Way. If that first time it didn't work for you, then go back and see why. This is why getting a membership is so crucial, because you get those judges' notes. You can see exactly where you lost the points. And then when you resubmit, you're going to take into consideration what the judges have said, fix it, and then resubmit that song. Not saying you can't sing My Way again, just saying you want to do it better than the last time. So, and it's always this constant growth. It's the cycle that you want to constantly be getting better and better and better, improving on yourself. So I really, and this goes for everybody. This is not just the one or two people who are asking to resubmit a video. This is for everyone out there who's watching. Also for all the divisional finalists as well. Okay. Don't get lazy. I was just watching, oh my goodness. I was watching the gymnastics. And our number one champ, right? Oh goodness, what is her name? Simone Biles, okay? Number one champ. She just took the 7th national title, like 7 years running, okay? She is not number one for 7 years sitting on her butt and not working. Okay. And I don't know how many times I've told contestants and how many times I've told other people who I'm trying to recruit to come in that this is the Olympics of karaoke. And so when I'm watching the Olympics and I'm watching these athletes working and really staying focused and driving themselves and pushing themselves, and I hear from others that they're just going to submit a video that they did like, I don't know, a while back. I'm going, and then you wonder why you don't win these types of competitions. You know, I really, really want you to think to yourselves, I am a vocal athlete. This is the Olympics of karaoke. You cannot win this thing just by, you know, there are, and don't get me wrong, there are champions in this competition who have just done very, very well. It's their first time, whatnot. But for the majority, it takes work. You know, it takes work, and you have to know how to play the game. Simone Biles, she knows how to play the game, right? But she works her butt off. And I kind of expect the same, because I mean, that's kind of how I do things, is I work really, really hard. Even now I have to be prepping for a battle that's coming up next month. And I'm prepping, I'm practicing, I'm getting a large repertoire of songs ready just in case they throw some weird curveball at me. I'm getting it ready. I'm getting my voice prepped. I'm making sure I have good eating habits. I have good hydration habits. I am, you know, doing my vocal warm-ups. I am prepping my body to make sure that I'm at my peak, so that when it's time for me to film, I'm on point. And I kind of hope that you guys are going to take it there too. Not saying that this is not fun, because let me tell you, singing is a lot of fun. And of course, we want you to bring your fun aspect into it. It really does come through on the camera when you are having fun. And I know Ian and the other judges have a great time when they see you having a great time with it. But again, don't think, oh, well, I already submitted that song, so I could just resubmit it because it's the same contest. No, that's not how it goes. We want you to improve on yourself. So yeah. With that, I will shut up and let Ian talk.
Before, real quickly, I want you guys to touch on this really quick, because you talked about membership and you can get the judges' notes and everything. But there's also another thing, is that we want you guys to be able to access some type of coaching. And I know vocal coaching can end up costing a lot. There's some coaches who are on the lesser scale, like for costs like $40, and then there's some that are $150. So with our membership, while you get 2 auditions for free, you are also gaining access to vocal coaches and mentors. People who have been in our program, ex-champs, people who are in the music industry, and you get direct access to them. It's not just them like you're writing them on Facebook or something. It's you're getting their email, their phone numbers. They will actually look over your videos. If you're stuck between 3 songs, they can say, okay, what are these 3 songs? What have you put together? And then they'll watch it. They can give you that feedback. They can say, hey, these are all ready to go and put in right now. Or they might say, look, you might want to think about reshooting these, because I don't feel like you put enough effort into it. And we, with this kind of competition, especially doing videos, the difference between being on stage and the difference between on videos is a lot of time with the videos, and it's nerves. And while you got nerves on stage, when you're doing the videos, the nerves sort of come. So you're like, I just want to get this done. I just want to get it done. So you go out and you go do it, and then you're not really putting your best foot forward. You're sending us first takes. You're sending us, not you, but some of the singers have sent us first takes. They've sent us videos of them doing karaoke like 5 years ago or like a year ago, or they've just taken it karaoke, and we can't really hear you because there are other people in the background. So we keep saying, hey, we really want the audio to be right off the board. We want to hear you clearly. We want to see you in your best light. So instead of just rushing through it, take some time, think about what you're going to sing, and also think about how you're going to set up your video and how you're going to shoot it. And your mentors can help you, especially for the ones who are going into divisionals. If you're sitting there and you're in divisionals right now, hit your mentors up. Both Grant and Miranda, who are moving on to divisionals because they were in the U.S. finals, actually will have access to those too. I know he's confused about that. We need to send them their membership numbers. But so you guys can get that kind of help too. But I want to talk to Ian and move on to Ian, because Ian's really passionate about this. And one of the things you're going to find when you're asking for the notes back, Ian writes these eloquently, very well phrased notes that are extremely detailed, to the point that he has written so many notes that sometimes he has to cut down his notes for them to fit into our judging software. But that is why it's the dedication that Ian puts forward to help us find this next world champ, as well as all of our other judges. When we have like Bobby DeBarge from the DeBarge family, like these guys like know what it takes to be in the business, and they're helping us out because they are really, really, really serious about it as well. So when you're doing those videos that aren't the best, they're also like, huh, do you really want this? Do you really want this as well? But those notes that they have are worth its weight in gold. The $50 membership, really, like when you're getting your notes and your full breakdown of scores, it's worth it. It's going to tell you exactly what you need to work on. Now I'm going to move on to Ian. And Ian, when you start judging, okay, when you look at that video for the first time, what is your first thing that you are thinking of when you're judging? Do you like watch the whole thing first? Do you watch it a couple times? Do you just start writing while you're doing it? I want to know what your process is. And every judge is different, but I just want to know Ian's process.
And yeah, that's the first thing. Every judge has an individual process, and we really encourage that. But what we want them to do is, when they decide their process, keep it consistent through the competition. Personally, I watch the video once, I watch all of them once, and then go back and watch the second time. And that's when I start making my notes. Typically, I will watch the videos 3 or 4 times before I'm submitting and putting in there. And it's important that we keep in mind in judging that we're not there thinking just about that round or just about that song. We're not there just, hey, here are some scores to pump out. Our goal as judges is to help identify the next world champion for the US. Our goal is to help find the 3 people this year who are going to represent the US at Worlds, and hopefully one of them brings home the gold. So when we're giving that feedback, the goal is, how can we help people improve? It's not for us to just write and say, hey, great singer, great vocal. Well, what about it was great? What about it, the performance made an impression on us? What set them apart? So we're really there thinking all the time, has this person got the potential to be a world champion? And how can we as judges help them? How can our feedback be constructive and improving, and help them prepare and to move on and progress and hopefully be that next world champion? And that ties back to what you've both said about not resubmitting videos, because as judges, having taken the time to give all that feedback, if we were to see the same video again, we'd be like, well, they didn't really take on board anything that we were trying to do or trying to help them with or guide them with. The first thing that is going to jump out at us, though, is going to be the visuals, right? Because we see at the start of a video, we always see with our eyes before there's anything for us to hear. So the way someone's dressed, the background, their poise, their body language are all things that are going to make an impression on us before we've heard a note. And sometimes we understate how important those things are, but they've all got to be there. We've had a number of results this year and last year that were really just fractions of a point separated people and made the difference to qualifying or to winning a round. And so when there are points in all of those categories, all those different things, it's important to make the effort and do what you can to bring those points home and get the whole package together, because that's what it's going to take to win Worlds. It's somebody who's going to bring the whole package, who's got the great voice, who can sing, who can be consistent with the performance, who can engage with an audience, but who looks the part, has the backdrops, knows how to conduct themselves physically, and can do all those things as well.
Yep.
Exactly. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I turned down my microphone and then I also muted it. So like, oh, the combo of those two are not good because I was like, I'm sharing as we go, as I'm listening to you guys. I'm sharing to other pages and groups. So I want to make sure that everyone also hears it.
Yeah, I have to agree with what Ian said.
Yeah.
That's generally how I judged, even when I judged it last year. I said I would watch it at a minimum of 3 times. The first time I would listen and have kind of like my back turned because I'm just focusing on the voice that's coming through. And then the second time I would watch the video with no audio so I could see what your body language, so I could really focus in on your body language, your facial expressions, how you're emoting the song with your stage presence. It's interesting because sometimes, you hear some incredible vocals and then you turn around and they have a blank stare and it's like nothing is happening. And then so it doesn't tie in with the whole charisma, the confidence, that aspect of it. And then the third time is, of course, watching it all together as it was made. So that brings in the artistry side, the expressiveness and the flow and everything. So, and song choice and how well it works all together as a full package. So that's funny that Ian watches it several times because I'm the same way. I think Ian, you and I are a bit extra. Not everybody does it the way that we do it, but it is to go ahead and find out what it is and being able to put it into words on how to best guide you on what to fix, and also giving you kudos on what you did very well. So to keep that up. So then that's the reason why getting a membership and getting those judges' notes are so crucial, because I have to say, I've been in many contests and I don't think I've ever been in a contest that gave the judges notes. In fact, a lot of times the judges don't even put down notes and they just give you a number score. So
it's common.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. I mean, if you wanted to know what the judges thought, you have to like wait till the very end and maybe catch them and ask them then what they thought about your performances. And even at that point, they can't even get into it in depth with you because they're probably getting bombarded anyways. So, and other competitions, they basically sequestered the judges altogether, so you don't ever get to talk to them at all. So yeah, it's kind of it's interesting, with KWC that you get those judges' notes like what you get from Ian, and Ian is so thorough. I've seen your notes. He is so thorough. But it's so well put together that, you can understand where he's coming from. And part of being a contestant is also being humble enough to know that you will have some flaws and having somebody else point them out to you. The whole idea is you have to know your flaw to fix your flaw, right? If you don't know, then you can't fix it. So, but if that flaw is what's keeping you from getting that number one spot, don't you want to fix it? That's my take. So this is the competition that gives you your judges' notes, as long as you're a member, gives you your judges' notes. So when he said it's worth its weight in gold, trust me, it is worth its weight in gold. It is literally like, it's stuff that you would never get if you were in any other competition. It is so crucial to get these notes, especially from industry professionals, for people who really want to pursue music as a career path. It's good to know what these producers, these music moguls, these critics, like what they're thinking about your singing. So yeah, get a membership.
And what's the cool thing is about videos compared to the live aspect, when we're doing nationals or you're at a venue qualifier, we hear you once. We have one opportunity. It's actually, I feel like it's harder to judge the live rounds because you are like you're writing everything down and you only have so much time because you start when you start, and the minute you get on stage, you're getting judged before you even sing. Same with the videos. The minute you see the video, but that time before the music even starts, as soon as we see your image, you're already getting judged. We want to see that charisma. We want to see your confidence and everything. But with the videos, we can watch it like multiple times. I did the same thing last year when I was judging, is that I would watch it multiple times. And I judged only the qualifiers. I didn't judge anything past that. But for me, I'm also on the same quest to find the world champ. And so it's really important to do that. And even if I have to lift into my way 4 times and hear the flaws 4 times, I'm still going to do it, because I really also want to pinpoint what we need to improve on to make you that world champ. Like you were saying, Miriam, is that sometimes you're doing the same thing in all those videos. It's like the same, like little, like, I wouldn't even say a flaw. It's like we pick up bad habits along the way. Sometimes I end up singing out of the side of my mouth because of things I've done with other songs, or if I'm doing an impersonation, or I'm trying to get a weird tone. And what happens is it bridges into when I'm normally singing, and I don't want that, because it's going to change the tone quality. It's going to change my pitch. It's going to change my enunciation. So these notes that you're going to get back, all of a sudden you'll be able to see that. We'll see that 4 times. Be like, hey, we want you to work on this. But I have to say, it's very frustrating though, is when you're writing the notes, people who have memberships are actually, some of them don't ask for the notes afterwards in their scores, and you've given their notes, and then they go and do another audition, and then you see that same thing. You're like, wait, but I talked about that. Like, when is that going to be fixed? So, but these things, and I never want to say, like, a lot of people say they don't want to get that feedback because they only want to hear the positive things. Positive things are great, and you're going to get the positive things. What Ian even said earlier is that you're like, some judges and some contests, you'll hear, oh, great vocals, great, blah, blah, blah. But they aren't saying, but I would like to hear more inflection and more of you really focusing on like utilizing that story, like get loud, use your dynamics of your voice, use your crescendo, decrescendo, really think about enunciation to tell that story more, or you're over enunciating. Some are so afraid now, because we're also in this age where everyone gets offended. Some judges and in other competitions too, you're not going to even get that, because they're like, we have to be so positive. And it's not that we aren't being positive. We're trying to help you. So sometimes you might hear things that you don't really want to hear, but it is to better you. So
yeah, think of it this way. I know. Okay, so I've been in competitions, right? I've been in plenty of competitions, and I don't know how many times I've heard, "Wow, you were fantastic! What a great job! Awesome! You did a fantastic job."
And you get 13th.
And my score is like, what was my score? It was like, you get a score of like 18 out of 25. Wait, if I was that great, where did I miss the points? Right? That's where my mind is at. If I was that great, where did I miss the points? And 9 times out of 10, you're never going to know where you missed that point, or 2 points, or 3 points, what it was that caused the judge to put 18 out of 25 instead of 25 out of 25 or 24 out of 20. You know what I mean? Like, you're telling me I'm great, but my score is telling me otherwise. Where did I miss it? Right? And that's where we do things a little bit differently. We say, you did a great job, but had you improved on, if you could work on your diction, if we can understand what the heck you're saying, that would really improve your score. If you learn how to breathe through those phrases, you would improve your score. Had you dressed up a little bit to really, give yourself a good presentation, you would have improved your score. You can see these things, and they're not meant to knock you. They are meant to help you so that if or when you move on to the next round, you have that note there to kind of say, hey, make sure you do these things so that you give yourself the best chance of becoming one of our champions, national champions, right? Because if you don't do that, then you're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot, realistically.
And you brought up something about dress, and it's one of the hardest things. I always feel bad judging on the way someone's dressing, but especially when you're doing a video, it's a really good opportunity because you have your closet usually right there and access to all your clothing. When we say dress up, we don't mean that you have to wear a ball gown. We don't mean you have to wear a suit. We want you. So if someone's singing rock, I actually prefer not to see them dressed in a suit. I would like to see you dress for that performance of what style you're going to be performing. And if you're doing opera, I don't want to see you in a dirty t-shirt. But I've seen it. I've seen people do that where it's like, oh, okay. Like if you would have put on even a collared shirt or like a sweater or, those type of things, it's like you're leaving. Me and Miriam always talk about this. You're leaving points on the ground. Why are you leaving points on the ground? That extra 1 or 2 points could have moved you to gold. And now you're looking from the outside. And
yeah, they're not understanding that, I mean, I think we talked about this last time too, where people, they look at the rankings, they look at the scoring, right? From first, second, and third, and they're looking at the scoring. They're going, oh my gosh, there's like a 10-point difference. Like, was I really that bad or that far off? Let me tell you, when you've got 10 judges, 10 points means a point a judge. Okay. And then at the same time, it's Olympic scoring. So realistically, it might be just slightly more than a point per judge, but it could be the fact that like your audio didn't come through as well as you had hoped for, or and didn't really give you that guys it didn't give the judges a good sense, or it could just be that the breathing was coming through a little choppy, or it could have been anything because you're talking 40 points, right? So like a point, like let's say a 0.25, right? 0.25 difference between one singer and another singer. You would think like, oh my gosh, like that doesn't seem like a lot. Well, let me go ahead and break that down even further. It's 4 categories with 5 subcategories per 4 categories. So that's like 20 subcategories we're dealing with. Okay. And then you go ahead and divvy up that between the 1.25, and then you're talking like fractions of a point that you're missing that could have given you the edge to surpass the other person. So when Josh and I are talking about leaving points on the table or points on the ground, I mean, these little things add up, and you're talking about a span between like anywhere from 7 to 10 judges. We just never know with each round, but it's somewhere between 7 to 10 judges, and we do Olympic scoring. So the top and the bottom are removed. And so it's just the middle chunk. And then that's scoring of 2 songs together combined. And so again, those little mini things that you're doing add up and can cause that 10 to 20 point difference between 2 singers who may have placed. We've had people who have missed out on being first place by less than a point, right? So again, if you can, try not to leave points on the ground. Just put your best foot forward. Your effort shows. And I'm sure Ian can agree with me. Effort shows. We're not saying take it so seriously that takes the fun out of it, but effort really does show. So, yes, the visuals, we talked about that so much. AV stuff, we've talked about almost every time. So I'm not even going to get into that, but I'm just saying effort shows. So just put the effort in and make sure you give the judges a really, really good time. And like you're putting on a concert.
So Ian, you actually have a really big role. So not only are you a judge, but you're a chairman of the jury, which means that you also need to make it clarify with all these judges from all different walks of life and of all different styles also on how to judge and what we're looking for. And I know that I've had to do that in the past as a national director, and sometimes people still just they still give out the scores. And I'm like, okay, well, that's just their style. And then after the competition, they're like, I so should have listened to you because I wouldn't have given those scores. But then I started those scores, and then I'm like, oh no, now these scores are all either really high or really low, or so, and then they realize when you get in that groove, you can't change what you're doing. What has your experience been helping the other judges and sort of tutoring them along the way?
So it's been great. It's a lot of fielding of questions. It's a lot of judges who've maybe got experience in judging with other competitions or who've never done it before. And we have various Q&A for the judges, questions that come up time and again to help resolve all those. But it's myself and Thomas, the judges coordinator, being available to answer questions and see things as they come up. Well, you get a lot of similar questions. Because we've got different singers and different videos every round, there are always new questions and always different things coming up. How should this be factored in? Where should we take this into account? What's the appropriate way to consider this in scoring? And most of the time, the answer to that is a conversation. It's not about me saying and dictating, this is something that we automatically demerit, or this is something that's just out of this world and has to be scored high. No. It's about opening up that conversation to what difference did it make to your enjoyment of the performance? How did it change the way that you could appreciate what this singer did? How did it change how you felt about the song? How does it impact how you see them as a potential world champion? And open up those conversations. And one of the exciting things with judges, as you said, Josh, coming from so many different walks of life, is that they bring their experience and their insights with them that are different to mine and different to yours and different to everyone else's, and really bring a lot of different things to bear on that and help us all as a group of judges sometimes see things in a different way, in a different light. So it's always very exciting to have that mixture of personalities, and the fact that we have different judges each round and people rotating in and out and people bringing their specialties to bear just keeps us really fresh as a group. One thing I wanted to follow up on that we've been talking about with getting the judges' feedback is we focus on the areas that judges can point out for improvement, but because oftentimes we're our own worst critics, sometimes there are things the singer thinks they really messed up and didn't do well with. And it can be really affirming to actually get back from the judges. You might be thinking, I really hate how my voice sounds in a falsetto. But the judges collectively might be giving the feedback saying, wow, we really love the way that sounds, or we love the tonality that becomes present, or the way you're able to sustain your vibrato. It may be something you think is a quirk and a deficiency that actually is something quite endearing and something that warms judges to your performance. And so you get the chance to hear that as well, and to get that feedback that says, I did that well. And people are often surprised by that.
All right. So, Ian, what is the top question that judges pretty much always ask you? Like, it's always the question they're like, hey, because you said they all sometimes have that same question. Which one? What is that question?
I think probably the most common question is, how high can they go? Miriam and I were both judges last year, and we would talk about the fact that we would never give out a 10 because there's always something that can be improved. Now, I don't have that as an absolute written stone law. I am absolutely open to the possibility that the next video I see might be absolutely perfect in every way. Obviously, that's extremely hard to do when there are 4 categories and 5 subcategories in each and so many different things we're looking for, but it's possible. But yeah, people kind of, that sense of how high can I go? Or maybe I'm looking at the scoring and it's coming out at this score, but I feel really passionate about the singer. Can that kind of override it, right? Well, not really, no, because there's a reason that the score has come out that way on paper, right? You may love what they do, but you've shown with your score the degree to which you love the application of the competency. It's
Right.
not just about, wow, that note really hit me in such a way that it resonated and I will remember it. And there are performances from last year that I will remember all my life that were absolutely exquisite, but maybe weren't perfect. And so, because we're looking for that whole balance of things, we want to make sure they're all in there and the score reflects that. The other thing is, if you go in and give something too high a score, what happens when you think the next singer is better? And the one after that is better. And so you're making sure that your score for each category is fair and accurate. And you've actually got a kind of baseline to work off then. You know how much you liked that one. And you have a good feeling when you see the next video. Overall, was that performance better or worse than the one before? And you can kind of calibrate your scorings and see, am I on the right track in that way?
All right. So now you did talk about something where someone's really passionate, like when you're judging someone. And when I'm judging, I always feel like that goes into our stage presence and entertainment value and the artistry, because that's where it's sort of like, that's where you get your little like extra points that maybe vocally weren't so strong, or there was just in your technique wasn't as clean as you wanted. But the passion part of like, ooh, but I really like that. That for me goes, when I'm judging, goes into stage presence and entertainment value. As you see, I put on here what our judging criteria is, and that's really generalized also. Like there's more that goes into just those four, because then there's subcategories under that. But would you agree with like when a judge is passionate, it's like obviously you can't be like, well, I really want them to be, they're still judging on all those other criteria. So that's why it's also overriding it. How do you feel about the criteria as they stand? Because we have these four criteria, and I know that me and Miriam are always like, this is like this always gives you that edge if you know the criteria. And then we sometimes, other people are like, oh, why is this not in there, or why is this in there? Like, how do you feel about the judging and these criteria of the voice, technique, artistry, and stage presence?
I really like the balance that's in it, because yes, this is a singing competition, and the natural voice and the skill to use that voice well. I covered technique, and that's half of a point directly there. But it makes a difference. As a member of the public, we buy that album or download that song or go to that concert, is often more than just clinically they have the most beautiful voice you've ever heard, or they know how to use it that way. That sense of what do they bring as an individual is so critically important to the difference between somebody who can go on and be that vocal athlete and become a star, and somebody who doesn't. The X factor that's in there is covered under the stage presence and entertainment value. But that artistry is that sense of, what did somebody do as an individual to bring themselves into it? Could they communicate with the audience the emotion of the song? Did they bring an appropriate interpretation of what the song's about, what the music's about, what the lyrics are about? Do they deliver it in the right way? Do we get the right mood, feel, and emotion from it? But also, we're not looking for a cookie cutter replication. We're looking for artists who can bring their original stamp to it in an appropriate way that gives us something completely unique, that gives us something that's memorable because they sang it, not because we heard one more person sing that song. It's performance is always that intersection of the material and the singer, and the relationship to the audience. It's those three things coming together. And so I love that 50% of the scores are to do with the actual quality of the voice and the singing technique, the ability to make the voice do the things you need it to at the right time. And 50% is there for recognizing the individual as a performer and for that X factor, for that presentation, for that, what are they wearing? How are they wearing? Do they look apart? Now, I would question if you can get away with wearing a t-shirt and singing opera. I think everything is specific to the song and the performance. There are specific operas that, well, there are many operas that have characters in them that are working class, difficult situations, So it's all about, does your presentation, do your clothes, do your singing style match the song? And are you able to bring another layer to your performance in what you're wearing, in your backdrop, and in everything that you're doing?
Thank you, Ian. Miriam, I'm going to have that same question for you about our criteria. And I know we talk about our criteria all the time. And our criteria actually used to be very simple. We used to have 5 criteria. And that 5th criteria got blended into the stage presence because it was an overall entertainment value criteria we had in the past for the first 12 years of the competition, because this has been like this now for 6 years without it. And I like that we blended it into the stage presence. I remember when they first tried to change it, I was like, no. And then I saw where it was the one thing, because it was just overall entertainment value, that could really be where a bias comes in, because it was another 10 points. And it's just like, and I saw it happen just with judges who were like, I really just don't like that song. And so what happened was someone got like a 4, because it's like the judge heard the song a zillion times at this point. And they're like, all right, well, it wasn't entertaining to me because I'm just so sick of that song. But it had nothing to do with that person's performance. By blending those two together, the entertainment value and the stage presence, it lowers that point to about 2 points for entertainment value. If that. It breaks it down to decimals, but I really like that fact. And Miriam, I know that you've been part of the competition from before and after. So I want your take on our 4 criteria that we have.
So I was involved at a time when the judging criteria was not very black and white. And it was interesting because I'm somebody who really likes to understand what I'm going to be judged on before I compete, so that I'm bringing my best foot forward. So I've been involved in competitions where it was 50% vocals, 50% stage presence, where it was 60-40, with vocal heavy, or it was predominantly stage presence and vocals really didn't matter. You just had to be very, very entertaining. So it didn't matter if you sang well or not. I mean, I've lost in competitions like that because I'm not one of your like high energy performers. I like to do my ballads, and I remember losing to a very poorly done rap song, but they were highly entertaining. So that was a very interesting thing. Again, every competition has their own criteria. When this particular criteria was being implemented, I did get to have a say in what the criteria would be during its inception. And I had to look over the subcategories. And I felt like, this was a really great way to try and minimize bias, because it really breaks down everything as analytically as possible. And I've said this, throughout this season, and I've said this last year too. When I'm judging, I don't put bias in my judging. I kind of do it in a more mathematical fashion. If I brought my bias in, I would, probably have given people either much lower scores or much higher scores than what I gave. because bias, I mean, we're all human. We all have a bias. We all love certain songs and they just, speak to us because maybe we're going through something similar that time that we're judging and we're just crying and, oh my gosh, you got me. And then other times like, man, this is like the 17th time that I heard this song and I'm really over it, but, as a judge, I had to look at it in the sense of, look, this person put their time and effort in making this video. They've put this together. You've got to give them that respect of giving them your whole attention, even if this is the 17th time you've heard this song and they're doing it the exact same way as everybody else. Doesn't matter. You have to still score them correctly. So, again, I know there were people who were upset with me because I didn't give them, higher marks in my scoring. Maybe I didn't give them the 9 or the 10, but again, I said I don't give 10s. Oh, hi, True. I don't give 10s. So a 9.5 is damn near perfect score for me. But again, if I'm doing it mathematically, I'm sorry, that's just how it falls, and especially in the technique category, I was kind of ruthless there. I'm sorry, but if your pitch was all over the place, sometimes I would give a 0.5 out of 2, because your pitch is just all over the place. If you're breathing, if you're cutting up words with a breath, and don't get me wrong, I do it too. And then I catch myself. So I have to be very mindful about not breathing in between syllables of one word. But it's just something that I prefer is don't cut up words. I know sometimes it's an artistic choice, but usually that's where, breathing, phrasing, diction, all of those things, especially in that technique category, if you were messing up in certain spots and doing these little things that I think that you should be doing well, then those points really reflected that. I would give half a point out of 2 points. If you're really that's an area of improvement that you need, right? And some people, they didn't really show other things in different other categories, and it just came out that way. So I really like the criteria only because it allowed me to remove my bias and just judge as fairly as I could, almost as robotically as I could. I hate saying that, but I had to do it in a more of an Android style, because a lot of these people are my friends. They're my friends. I love them, and part of being a judge is the aftermath and it hurts, but I have to do it as non-biased as possible so that if I get confronted about my scores, why did you give me this? And I've had friends do this to me. Why did you give me this? You just wanted me to fail. I could say, well, here's the criteria. Here's where you lost the point right here. And this is where you lost it here. And let's go step by step, frame by frame. Let's look at your songs and let me go through and show you why I scored you the way I scored. And then you will see it.
And those notes back up what those scoring is. So that's the great thing, is that you're going to get, when you get those notes, you're going to see why you were marked down in the voice or technique or artistry of stage presence. One of the things that I personally like about it being 4, and I said it before, whereas that overall entertainment value, you can throw your bias in, but you can find a judge who is biased very easily, because when you have the 4 criteria, and just in case, it's really hard to, this is a small world. We're sometimes you don't even realize someone's trying out for this competition, and you might know them. You might be somewhat close to them or something as a judge. We don't want to excuse a judge because they know them. All of our judges have been vetted. However, if we see that kind of weird anomaly where it's like everyone else is giving them like 4s, 3s, 6s, and then you have one judge who's like, 10 on voice, 10 on technique, that's when we're like, or just a really high score where everyone else is low, or a really low score when everyone else is high. That's when we're like, we start questioning about the judging. However, all judges do have their own way of judging. So we still want them to judge, but if it's for one person or two people, we're gonna be like, all right. And this sort of takes it away. The other thing that we do with the Karaoke World Championships is Olympic scoring. So, and while it's fair for the singers, I gotta say, it's the one thing that I've talked to many people who have judged throughout the years. When you're judging and you're putting your time and your effort to give these scores and give these notes, only to have your notes and scores not count. I've had a lot of angry judges too, but at the same time, we also fall back to that because just because you got low or high scores from a judge on one round, that's still that judge's true feeling. We will see right away. But if it's biased, it's getting rid of that. It sort of was put in that place to get rid of that one judge who, might have just fallen in love with a singer, because it happens, especially when there's 3 or 4 rounds and you get captivated with them those first 2. And I've even seen that happen at Worlds where I was like, why did that person move on? Well, everyone loved them from the first time. So it's not really a bad thing, but when they hit that third song, it's sort of like it could also spiral, because you end up with expectations, then you might not meet them. But some of the judges are just still like, I'm so happy to see them here again, and then they're getting that little extra with the Olympic scoring. That's taking care of that. So.
Yeah, I love the fact that we are trying to do the best to minimize, not completely eliminate, but we're minimizing the level of bias that is going into your scoring. I mean, again, people like Ian and myself, we tend to be as accurate and consistent as possible. And I feel like that is something that everyone is entitled to, is having judges that aren't looking at your performance being biased either for or against you. It should be fair for all the contestants. I can absolutely hate your song. Like, I don't like Billie Eilish songs. But I might love your rendition of it.
Exactly.
I may love a song, but you just didn't quite deliver or give me the feels that I really wanted, and the scores will reflect that in the sense of, did you lose? But if you performed it well, don't get me wrong, I could hate a song, but if you perform it well, you're going to get good scores. I could love a song, but if you don't give me the performance I want, it might not score as well. It's really based on your skill sets and how well you emote and how well you deliver the song, and make me believe that that song was truly written for you. Don't worry about it, Kareen.
Yeah, she's not.
I'm not saying you can't sing it. I'm just saying I learned this. It's something, and no hate to Billie, but I'm not for it because it just doesn't feel supported. But I did a test on this, and I always have to get scientific with it. I did a test on it, and I had some of my good friends who I find are really, really great vocalists. And I said, hey, I need you to cover a Billie Eilish song for me. Just send it to me. I'm trying to figure something out. They did, and I realized it's just her. It's not the songs. The songs are amazing. It's just her.
Yeah. And don't worry, guys. Also, Miriam is not judging that. She's actually
not
really happy she's not judging.
I'm very happy.
Because she loves all of you, and she really, when she's judging, she gets in a mindset. And she's really serious about it, and she doesn't want you guys to think that she doesn't like you.
I love everybody.
I
don't want anyone to misunderstand me. And Ian and I are the same. We love everybody. And just because we're giving you these constructive criticisms does not mean that we hate your voice. It does not mean that we think you're not a champion. It's just we were put in a position where we have to give you a number score. And given it being very as robotic as possible, it just came out the way it came out. But it has nothing to do with our love for your voice and your performance and what we think of you as a person. So I'm glad I'm not judging. I give all the kudos to Ian and the rest of the judging committee on what they do, because they do have a tough job. And I will be here to back up the judges 100%, because having been a judge, I don't like my judging being questioned either. But with that being said, I'm glad I'm not, because I love to be a cheerleader, and it's really hard for me to be a cheerleader and judge at the same time. So I'm here for you guys. Lots of love.
I do want to bring up a couple things that you talked about. So you said there's Billie Eilish. For me, it's Louis Capaldi. Like I love his songs. His technique is so terrible. Like every time I hear him, I'm like, you are gonna get nodes. It's so you're forcing these notes, and a lot of it is done in the studio. So they're piecing pieces together, and I can hear that when that's happening in the studio. I'm like, oh, yep, this is just a small take. This is just a small take. His breathing's really bad. However, his songs, when it's done by people who, like you were saying, like some of these other singers who are in our competition, and they bring their artistry and they bring their technique to it, I'll be like, ooh, I love that song. In fact, there was a song that I was always like, oh, I hate it because everyone's trying to do this thing, the same thing he does. And Katie and I ended up dancing to it at nationals when another singer sang it, because it was so beautiful what they did with it. And so these songs, we really want to see your artistry. One of the things is all 4 people who went to Worlds last year from the US, I think that was the one thing. They all brought their own spin and own take and own artistry to each one of those songs. And when they were trying to find songs, people were like, don't do that song. Don't do that song. Don't like, look, they're doing it their own way. Garvando's artistry is off the chain. He makes like, I'm so sick of that Lauren Daigle song, and I actually only want to hear him sing it because he sings it so beautifully, and his artistry and technique with it is so good. Like it resonates with me, and it was a beautiful song the first time I heard Lauren sing it, and that draw I was like, okay, I'm done, because everyone's trying to sing it like her. But I love it when you have that extra something in artistry and give it that X factor, which Ian was talking about as well earlier. It's going to give you that extra boost in the competition. And I think that's one of the reasons why we had the people who moved on also moved on. And actually, there were a lot of people who had that and still didn't move on. I'm not saying that you guys didn't have it. I'm just saying like that. Sometimes it's just like these little tiny things. But with Garvando, that's one of the reasons why we have this world champ. When he was talking about his songs and throwing songs out and asking us all their opinions, I was like, really? Like, but then I also know Garvando, and I also know how he sings, and I know like, and so I'm like, oh yeah. And he, and a lot of these singers, they totally redo that whole entire song and make it sound like they wrote it. Like it's their song. It's not a Billie Eilish song anymore. It's not like, I always feel like Billie Eilish is the female Morrissey. I'm always like, I love Morrissey, but I don't feel like because he's long and drawn out and really sad and like, but I feel like other artists, if they brought that artistry to, because I don't feel like Morrissey songs would do well or a Smith song would do well in a competition like this. But if you put a spin on it and you put different artistry, you can make people excited about it.
Ooh, that brings up a good point. I think that's a good time to like kind of segue into song choice.
Yes.
Right.
Not only song choice, we do need to also talk about the country round, but let's go to song choice and then we'll
song choice real quick. I just got this question recently, and there, actually a few singers have asked me personally this question, and they're just like, oh, this song's not big enough to sing for a competition. I don't really think it is a good time. And I said, listen, So here's the difference between competition live and competition through video. The wonderful part about video is if you're one of those singers who sing really intimate, beautiful, like it just has these gorgeous nuances to the song that may get lost if you were to try and sing it on stage, video is the way to go. I mean, you see a lot of these YouTubers who they're not doing these big band things. They are literally singing with an acoustic setup, right? I mean, they are just doing it to a guitar or doing it to a piano, and they're singing these very toned down versions of these big ballads or these big numbers. And they are just so captivating because it is video and because it is intimate. I think if you're one of those singers, who really like to do more intimate stuff, or you just don't, you're kind of nervous about being on stage and being this big presence, and you have to like compete with people who have big presences. Like we know a lot, like, you know, in our circle who have these big personalities. They can electrify that stage as soon as they step on it, and they are just on. They're just go off, right? If you're one of the people that are like kind of more toned down and more muted, and you just really love singing and bringing that artistry into the whole mix, but that might get lost in a live competition, video rounds is for you, because those big songs, it may not translate very well on a video, but that intimate stuff, man, does it really get you? At least for me personally. I don't know about Ian, but for me, I personally like those things. So what do you think, Ian?
I am all about intimacy with performance and getting that. And most of my favorite artists are people who can communicate that and get that authenticity, that intimacy, and that relationship. And what you said there, Miriam, is absolutely right. The other piece that's really valuable is oftentimes these are songs that are not put out there quite as much. And when you hear something different than everything else that's come before, and you've knocked it out of the park, then wow, that can really just shock people and send those scores amped up out of the stratosphere. Whatever you do, it's got to be something you can do well, and that you can really sell the song, sell the emotion of the song, as well as getting all those notes right and showing your vocal technique. I think sometimes one of the mistakes people make is in picking a song they love and that people like generally, but it's maybe not a song that has notes that show off what they can do with their voice, that show what an amazing singer they are. And so I think that's a really important consideration to have in there. Is this song going to give me the opportunities I need to show to the audiences and to show to judges what I can do with my voice and show what I can do at my best? If a song doesn't have those elements, it doesn't matter how much people like the song. We're not going to get to see all of you and the best of you. And what we really want to see is the best of you and the best of you and the best of you, and find the one who's the best of all of that to take us towards.
Exactly. So, Kareen, don't be afraid of song choice, because I see you there. I see it. Don't be afraid of song choices, especially for a vocalist such as yourself. And I saw your comment up top, you know, talking about, you know, your technique and everything like that. Listen, I think you have one of the most solid technique that I've heard in a long time. So I just want you to pick songs that you would want to put on your very first cover album. You know, songs that you connect with, and just really sell it to us. That's all it is, you know, and do it mainly because you love to showcase your talents. I think a lot of times people just get really caught up in the fact that it's a competition. We're all a family here, whether you win or you don't win. It's not really a matter of like that kudos. I always say, you know, the most surprising thing happens when you just don't expect it, right? Just go out there, have fun with it, just share your talents and your love of music. Let that come through on that camera screen, and and for us to see on video. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's going to be, as long as the judges can feel like at ease with your performance and they don't feel nervous for you because you're taking it so serious. You're trying to hit every note and every little thing. And, oh, I gotta, like we can see you thinking. So at least I can see you thinking. I can see your body tensing up a little bit. So just have fun with it. Let it flow. Let it have some ease. And I guarantee you, you will do well. And then, again, it's not about winning or losing. It really is about showcasing your talents and just having fun with it. So don't think too hard, Kareen, because I know you, and you think very, very hard about these things, but just have fun with it, because you are an incredible vocalist. You're a great performer, and I need you to just come through and do what you do best.
Yep.
That goes for everybody.
So one of the things that Grant hasn't written us again, but I know one of the things he's confused about. So he's getting to divisionals, and I know the whole season he's been trying to, he's like, maybe I just throw up some songs in a round, but he can't because he's going straight to divisionals. But now we also, not only is he in divisionals, we have a lot of singers in divisionals, and we only have 6 more spots. For the people who have already made it, you should start working on your videos. There are 3 songs. Yes, 3 songs. You cannot use anything that you used in the past already, unless you didn't place with it. You could have been in another round, you didn't place with it. That's on the table. It's that we don't want you using a song that you already placed into divisionals with. We've heard that. We know it places into divisionals. We want to hear something new from you. The same time is that I don't want you guys, when you're choosing your songs, to be worried about the technical aspect of making your video. We want to hear you clean as possible. If there's not effects, there's not effects. We want to hear your voice first and foremost. There should be some music in there, but we really want to focus on judging your voice and your performance. So that backing track might be a little bit too quiet. If it's a little bit too loud, you know what? We'll get over it. If we don't like it, we do vet them and we will ask you to re-record it. We will give you that chance, because we want you all to have that same playing field as everyone else. And you can use Smule, and you can use Yoki, and you can use all these singing apps, Star Maker, the Voice app. There's so many out. I wouldn't use things like Voicey, because it's all like vocoded and pitch controlled, and it's cool to play with. We don't want those videos, though. Those videos are not. We want to hear you as clean as possible, and all those other apps are really good with that. We also don't want you using all these crazy effects. If you are using a singing app, we'll actually ask you to do another take, or if you had the take without the effects, we don't want to see you singing as a cartoon on Smule. So Smule just added a cartoon feature.
You can do that?
Yeah, they added
I want to sing as a cartoon.
Right, but we don't want to judge you as a Disney princess cartoon singing. So,
but why not? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm messing. Okay.
I know the first person who's going to call me as soon as someone does that. But also, you can green screen, but don't start using extra effects. Like, you can switch your background. Don't start putting in special effects like smoke, things apparitioning in front of you. You're swinging on like a swing or something like that. We want you to do your performance like you're on stage. And then I'm telling you, on stage, you're not going to have that. You can put the type of stage you want behind you, like the way you look, like it looks. It can be a black stage, like a black box stage. It could be something like this. See how this like music stage behind me. But we just want to be able to focus on you. We really want less distractions when we are judging and trying to find that next champ. That is just as important as finding those 3 songs. But we don't want you to worry about like, hey, I only have my phone. Like I can't do it. I only have my phone, or I only have a junky webcam. We're fine. We're fine with that. We're okay with that. And we're also here to help you. So if you do have any questions about AV issues, please email us at the KWC teamusa@gmail.com, because we will reach back out to you and help you. You don't have to be part of the mentorship program. As long as you're in divisionals, we're going to help you with that. Because we want you guys to all have that same footing. So you're going to need 3 songs for divisionals. When I'm preparing for a competition, the things I always want to look at when I'm doing it, when I'm preparing, when I choose songs, is that I like to contrast my styles a little bit between my songs. I don't want to come out with just 3 ballads. I want to either switch up my genres a little bit, or maybe do something that's more upbeat and then do a ballad. But what happens is you sometimes can get pigeonholed really easily if you're doing that same genre, and it's not really going to technically take off points for you. But at a certain point, the judges are going to be like, I sort of want to see something else from them. I want to see if they're capable of doing something else. I want to see if they have that quality to become that next world champ. And that's some of the things that we've seen with the world champs, where last year we have a guy doing opera. I want to say he's our silver medalist in the world, or it's a bronze medalist. He's doing opera and then he's doing rock. And it was like, whoa, like it was crazy. So I would want you to contrast as much of your songs as possible. But if you only do ballads and you're a ballad singer, go ahead and do it. If you only sing country or rock and that's your go-to, do it. Just remember that I would try to stick away, like not try to do 3 Nickelback songs or 3 Adele songs or 3 Whitney Houston songs. Try to mix it up for us. Not songs all from the same musical. If you're doing Broadway, 1 from 3 different musicals is just fine. You don't need to do 3 songs from Phantom. But I'm going to move on to Ian because he's one of our he is the head of the jury, the director of the jury. I'm going to keep messing up. Chairman of the jury. How would you prepare or like to give them that feedback for divisionals for what songs they're looking for?
I think here is when we need to remember that the song is the vehicle that a singer is using to sell themselves. So something they feel comfortable with, confident with, a song they know inside out, something that shows off their voice, as we talked about before. It helps if it's a song that is fairly well known and maybe not too well known, but at the same time, if it checks every other box and absolutely works and the magic comes with it, then I don't care if it's the song half the judges have never heard before or half the judges think they've heard played to death. Because if you've got that magic in there, because everything is just coming together in that moment and giving you just that star-making performance, I want to hear it. So all of those things are really me saying, I don't know, because it's going to be different for one person to the next as to what song will bring those qualities out in them. And help them really, really sell it. We want to see that passion for singing, passion for performance, and a passion for the specific song as well. We want to see how it all relates together and fits in and tells a musical story and gives us narrative. I think you made an excellent point about diversity in your picks. And sometimes part of that can be, maybe you normally do rock songs, and for some reason your rock song doesn't quite land, doesn't quite fit with the judges. But your next song is maybe country, and maybe that does hit in a different way. But let us see the different aspects of you. Let us hear the different things your voice can do when you're playing with those genres.
Thank you, Ian. I'm going to move to Miriam, but we're going to bring up one thing really quick. In these divisionals, the first 2 songs are what you're getting judged on to get out of the gold, silver, and bronze to find those top 3. anyone who doesn't place in, which is the 4th through 7th, anyone past 7th, you will not be in the blue ribbon. But you guys have one more chance. So that third song actually should be one of your top go-to songs to get out of that blue ribbon round. So that's something I do want to add really quick because I forgot to say that. Miriam.
You just read my mind. I was like, I think we should talk about that real quick. See, we're vibing. We're vibing. We've been doing this for a while now. Can you tell? Yeah. So divisional finalists need to understand that the divisional finals, the tier finals, is going to be treated kind of like the way the qualifiers are. So both of your songs are equally weighted. There is no opener status or anything like there was previously. There's no opener. A lot of, those the contestants who have been involved in our live competitions understand, in our national finals, we had 4 rounds. We had the day 1, day 2, or round 1, round 2. And, we would normally say, hey, out of the 4, you should probably put the weakest one in your first round because it's weighted less than the second day. But they're cumulative scores to the semifinals. This is not that year to think that way. You don't have an opener. Okay. All of your songs need to be like finals level. Okay. They need to be your best songs coming through the gate. You don't want to be losing because you just picked the wrong song for yourself, and everything. When it comes to song choice, I like variety, but I also like consistency. I know it sounds weird, right? So I like variety and I like consistency. What do I mean by that? And I think Josh and Ian can both agree on this. When I was advising former world champ on songs for nationals 3 years ago, he wanted to throw in a fast-paced song. And I said, what kind of a singer are you? Are you a ballad singer? Do you find yourself better when you're singing slower songs, or do you find yourself like that high energy, I can pump it up and electrify the stage? And he said, well, I generally gravitate towards slower ballads, right? Ballads. And I said, okay, if you're going to do ballads, there are many different types of ballads. Okay. There are pop ballads. There are rock ballads. There are country ballads. There are, just any type of like really slow love songy type of stuff, or any heartbreak or anything like that. It's really based on tempo and just how big it gets. I said, stick with what you are good at. Just because you can do a fast song does not mean that you are meant to do a fast song, nor does it mean that that fast song is going to bring out all the top elements of your voice, right? And same thing with our current world champion. He is one of those big ballady type of singers. Can he do an upbeat song? Sure, but his vocal qualities come out with those ballads, and his uniqueness, what makes him so special, and that X factor comes out with those slow songs. Our champion of 2019, Michael White, he can do those ballads, but man, does he electrify with those upbeat types of songs. He really does know how to sell it on stage. So we all have, as singers, we all have these things that we're really, really good at. I always say that somebody is good at 2 to 3 genres, types of songs. Okay. So a lot of times opera singers tend to do really well with musical theater. Musical theater singers can do really well with like pop or rock. It could just go kind of blend like this. Like you could do well in like 2 to 3 different genres. Pick those genres, pick songs from those genres, throw them in the mix. Right. Because like Ian said, we might not like your first song. You know, you might think you do great at it. Your family thinks you're doing great at it. Your friends think so too. But the judges might be like, it was kind of lackluster. But then that second song might be something that was more intended for you. Like, whoa, that song fit that person like a glove. Okay. And not like somebody else's glove, but you know, like a glove. Right. So it's good to do that. And that's where our mentors come in too. They can tell you if they feel like that song was meant for you. You know, we have a lot of great mentors that are on standby for you at your disposal. You know, you can't talk to the judges. So we have our mentors who are on standby to talk to you about your song choices. Again, there is no opener. Okay. Your first two songs are equally weighted. That third song is like a Hail Mary song. Okay. That means if you land 4 through 7, that song is going to determine whether you make it to nationals or not. So it's a Hail Mary. So you want to think of your strategy in that way. That's why this is like, oh, I want to do this song and I don't want to do this song. Oh, I don't know about this song. Pick your best songs. This is not the time to play around like that. Pick your best songs. Okay. Do not leave anything on the table. Pick your best songs. Period. End of story.
All right. I think we beat this one with
I beat it to the ground.
To the ground. Corrine, though, she said this is so helpful. I know that she's trying to find her 3 songs for divisionals. And, you know, and the other thing is when you're picking these songs, that is actually one of the things with the mentorship program. Again, if you are a member, then you can go to our mentors and say, hey, I have like 30 songs I sing. I don't know how to pick each one. And we're there to help you. And you'll get a list of names. You can hit up every single mentor and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. And then say, okay, well, these 5 all said this. So that's what I'm going to go with. Like, you know, so, or if you have the common ones where it's like, oh yeah, you should do this, then, you know, it's going to help you. At the same time, don't swamp them with 30 songs. Like don't send them 30 videos and be like, here, watch each one of these videos. But like, hey, this is, you know, we don't have that kind of time. But I also know a lot of you are doing Smule and practicing on Smule and have done a lot of songs. Go back. You can share those videos. You can share those videos. All right.
Listen, you could book a session with me and I will watch all 30 videos. Yep. How's that? I will do it for a price.
But it's something that, you know, you guys, if you paid for a membership, take advantage of it. If you didn't buy a membership and you're still in divisionals, this is sort of the time. Hit us up. We can see about doing something for a membership for a lower cost or something like that. Just because you just did a regular, you threw in the $30 to try out. We want to make sure that everyone has that benefit. So right now we do have a country round going on, and we've already got a bunch of singers in. We have some new members in, which is going to be great because we have a raffle coming up in a couple minutes. And so with country, you want to make sure that you guys understand when it's a genre round, that when you're doing a genre round, that is the one genre you want to do. You don't want to be sending in a different song that's not of that genre, unless it's a country version. Like it can be a country version of a certain song. It really also depends on how you sing it. If you sing it really country, you know, we'll accept it. But be prepared if you're sending in a song that is totally not a country song, but you sent one country song, for us to ask you to resubmit that second one. We're going to try to get that before that deadline to do that. Because we've seen that happen in almost every genre round where there was always that one questionable song that we're like, is this really this genre? We really want to find the best of country. So you need to come with country songs. And then right after it, we're going to have one more open round. but this open round is going to be different than the past ones. We're going to be opening up later on and talking about it the next Q&A, and also you'll get more information about it. But we know that we're going to probably have a lot more auditions that one, because it is the final one. Your time is ticking, and this is it. Now, if you don't do country, or you're a really good singer and you have some country songs, look, get those videos in. We only have this round and one open round. Do those best country songs you have. That is the key right now. This country round goes till the 20th of June for auditions, and then we're going to be showing that round later on, 2 weeks from then, which I believe is the 4th, right? It's the 4th of July.
How fitting.
It'll be the results show of the country round, and then we'll have that open round out, and then but the problem with waiting until that last open round is if you place gold, silver, or bronze, you're only going to have a few days to get those 3 songs in for divisionals. So anyone who's trying out, I would say start thinking about those songs, whether or not you've made it gold, silver, or bronze in these last 2 rounds. Start thinking about those divisional songs and start working on those songs. Might as well just take them all, right? Just start recording.
Film it all.
Yeah.
Film it all.
Especially if you do that last round, make sure you start shooting the divisional rounds, because that turnover is going to be quick. We need those videos quick. And if you don't get that in, you just lose an opportunity. We're not going to go to the next person and be like, oh, I know you placed 4th. Now you're going to move into the silver round. It doesn't work like that. We can't give away spots. If you're in a round and you placed in already, there are people who have told us already that they're thinking about not moving on. Well, we're not going to give that away. You might as well use your opportunity, and we're here for you to help you. We really want you guys to use it. Making videos should not be a tedious process. I know it can be, but really do the best you can with the tools you already have. Your phone is your best friend. It really is. Smule and those singing apps are your best friend. When we get to nationals, are we going to try to get you away from using those singing apps and teach you how to do it from at home? Yes. However, but if that's what you use, that's what you use. When you go to Worlds, it's the same thing right now. They're still saying it's okay for singing apps. That might change though by the time we get to Worlds. I never know. I don't make the rules for Worlds. We try to not affect those rules. We try to go by the Worlds rules as long as we know them. And when they change them, we try to sort of like go with it. But when it's too far in the game, we're like, okay, well, just let you know, this is now this rule for Worlds. But we're really consistent about that thing. So get those country songs in. There's so many country singers who have actually hit me up too, and all are really excited about doing it, and I haven't seen their videos. So I know so many incredible country singers where I'm always like, oh my God, this is going to be the round. That's going to be the round. And I haven't seen it. Please submit. I know Miriam's the same way. I also know that not only our board members and people who are involved with it really excited, but our judges also, like, they might reach out to you, be like, hey, you need to try out. I mean, because they've been watching people also sing online and things like that, and they might reach out to you. It also might be a judge from a previous round who's like, hey, there's this country round. I'm not even judging this round. You need to do it. Like, listen to them. Like, these people know what they're talking about. Or else they wouldn't be judging it. So now we have raffle time. Raffle time! Raffle time over here. And I'm going to share my screen, because instead of calling people's random numbers, I made a little. Hold on. Let's see if we can see it. Don't look at that. Look at that. See, I took my little current members thing, and here I'm going to get rid of that. And get rid of that.
That's always fun.
Yeah. Yep. So we have 5 prizes to give away. And what we have today, we have Katie is right here, by the way. Everybody say hi to Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
not only do we have a watch, I'm going to open this one up. So some of you guys got the watch already, have won the watches. And the other ones have like the leather or the faux leather strap. These are my favorite. These have the metal. They're the metal ones with the metal wristband. And you can always add a link or take out a link out of that. So you are going to win one of these amazing watches. We're going to start with that first. Katie has the paper out to write down who's winning, and we're going to click to spin. And we're gonna say I like clicking instead of pressing control and enter at the same time. Here we go. Who is it? Who is it? Whoa, Miranda! You have won that beautiful watch, and it is a unisex watch, even though it's the metal band. It does not have any gender attached to it. Awesome job, Miranda. And Miranda's a divisional finalist. She was at Worlds last year. She blew us away with her songs. I wish I would have just booted up her video really quick to show everyone, but I've got to move on. All right. So next we have this is a tripod for your phone. And what's cool about these tripods is that the legs, you can wrap them around different things. I like it because if you're using your TV for the lyrics, you can either prop it up right in front of the TV, or you can put it on top of your TV and let the legs sort of like hold it in place up there. And then you can use your speakers from your computer and just sing loud, and like so it can hear you, or turn down the speakers in your TV. But it's great and versatile, and you can put it as high or low as you want. Always go high. Don't go low. We don't want to see from underneath. All right, we're gonna close that. Now, if Miranda comes up again, she will not be winning a prize. She already won a prize. So here we go. We are going to spin the wheel.
Ian's face.
Name. I don't know how. Oh, because I cut and pasted and left name in there. We're gonna do it one more time. Thanks, name. Where is name? I don't even see it on there. Oh, there it is. Name. Oh, I don't
Get out
know.
of here, name. We don't need that.
Peter. There we go. All right, we're let's try that again. You know, while I'm in air, I'm gonna take Miranda out. Just so it doesn't come up on her again. There we go. And we're going to spin for the tripod. And it is Lisa Gomez. Lisa Gomez, who we have not seen a video from her yet this season. Yeah. We might have to reach out to her with this and tell her, hey, now you have to get a video in. All right, we're closing that. Next we have, and I've gotten to see photos of people wearing this. I love it. This is our favorite thing. We used to give these away a lot. At Nationals, we used to give it to every person who hit Nationals, but is our microphone pendant with necklace. I don't think you can see it that well. Now it's still trying to focus on me. So we have that, and that is going to go. Let's get rid of Lisa. Where is she? There she is, right there. And if you already won a pendant, please reach out to us. If you win a pendant today and you want something else, we could try to switch it out for you. And here we go.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Ooh, Katie is showing this off. It is a bracelet. It's a music bracelet. And they're a little perfect for the loved ones. but it has music notes all over it. And
it's real pretty.
You should see it in person. Next time we get together, which hopefully soon. We live in the same city. All right, here we go. We're spinning for the big one.
Yay!
Actually, our latest member. So she just became a member the other day. Or was it
Abby?
the other day? So good job, Abby. Thank you for signing for membership. Bonus is a membership. You get these fun things. All right, here we go. What is this? Ooh, now we have another watch. And this is the watch with the faux leather screen. And I should take it in a bubble wrap. It doesn't look good in bubble wrap.
I think it's a white leather band.
Yep.
In a sense, yeah.
Yep. Here we go. Roberto, I believe, got this. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a white band. All right. Great for the summer. Great for the summer. All right. I'm going to take out Abby Castleberry. Increase someone else's chances. And here we go with the spin. Renee's watching. She's like, "What? I won another prize!" Yeah, and that is our prizes for today. That is our raffle. Let's give a big warm round of applause for our winners of the day. You didn't even need to sing, and you won. Look at that. Look at that. I'm gonna stop sharing that screen. There we go, and we're gonna go back to this look. I like this look. Well, Ian, thank you so much for being on here. Do you have any last words of wisdom or anything you want to bring up that we have not touched on before we go?
Yeah, I just want to mention with the Olympic scoring, one of the advantages for it. And first of all, as judges, we don't get to see how other judges score things. And so we're never going to know if it's our scores that are taken out because we're the highest or the lowest, which I think is really good. But, we are looking for performers who will appeal to a majority of judges come Worlds. And if you've got an artist who's pretty good and there's one judge who loves them, that is not going to see them successful at Worlds. It's got to be somebody who can appeal to the majority of people. So actually taking out that really high score for everybody helps us find somebody who will have that appeal. And when you look at the scoring from Worlds last year and Garfando's results, you see it is not that people who win or finish in the top three got lots of points from a small number of countries and none from elsewhere. That was enough to carry them. It's people who get some points from the majority of the countries and of the judges. And so we're looking for people who've got that diverse appeal and who can get points from as many different types of judges as possible.
And when you hit Worlds and in this format, in the virtual world, our judges, so like we had our panel of judges that judged all the singers for Worlds except for our own country, which means that when they've gone through this process of going through divisionals and going through nationals and everything, and our judges that we've had definitely chose the right way. We won a gold, and we had 3 people in that very final round. So that means that we're doing it right. And our judges weren't even utilized for our own country for our singers. None of their own country, the singer's own country, was able to judge for them. So
yeah, it's very Eurovision. So if you guys watch Eurovision, it was in the same fashion as Eurovision scoring system. So
it's like you can't vote.
That was fun, actually. I really enjoyed that. Personally, they still have to go off the criteria, but I really enjoyed that because you just didn't know. what
No,
was going to happen.
no. Yep, exactly. And I can't wait to see. These are last 2 rounds, and I'm actually like nervous because I'm like, this is it, and I know that there are all these singers sitting out there who have just been waiting, and I'm like, oh, our judges might have their work cut out from them. We might have a 40-person round coming up because we know that tends to happen at the last minute. But right now it is the country round. This coming Sunday is actually going to be the results show for the last open round, the open round 5, because we have one more that's open round 6. So that's going to come next Sunday when we're not doing a Q&A session. It's at the same time, starts at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So you'll be able to see the results of that. And you'll get to see new singers and see who's moving on to divisionals. Those singers right now have no idea if they've moved on or not. So it's pretty awesome. At the same time, I wish I could tell you guys beforehand because I really want you to be prepared for divisionals. So if you are in round 5 right now or in country round, start making those videos for divisionals. Just start doing it. Plus, you get that practice. Even if it's not making it specifically for that, start practicing making those videos. You'll realize it's just like your voice. If you're not practicing your voice, it's not going to get better. It's just it could actually go the opposite way. And that's another reason why we don't want videos from last year or the year before, or you auditioning for The Voice from years past or X Factor, because we want to hear you in the now. And you might have been having some fabulous vocal coaching, and we wouldn't know by watching those videos from 2 years ago because you weren't vocal coaching back then. And even if you're practicing twice a week, or if you're if you're a KJ and you're going out and you've been holed up in your house for a year and a half, and now you're back out hosting and you're singing again, you're starting to retrain your voice. We want to hear you now. So it might actually be better now than it was when everything was shut down during the pandemic. So now is the time to make those videos. Miriam, before
I just want to make sure that Ian finishes his thought, though. I think we cut him off a little bit there. So
I just want to throw out there, when we think about country music, what that means and what it can mean, because sometimes people have a really limited perspective and think, if I don't sound like Garth Brooks, I shouldn't bother. I'm really looking forward to judging this round. I love country music and I love the breadth of it. And if you're thinking about entering and thinking maybe I don't have that right country sound for it, well, you know what? I want to hear bluegrass. I want to hear country folk. I want to hear some country gospel. I think about some of the great Ray Charles country soul music, right? I think about rockabilly. I think about so many different types of singers and performers, EDF, you name it, there's a country version there, there's country disco, everything else. You know, let's not be limited in what we think country has to be. I really want to hear that passion and hear the best country singers out there. You know, bring us what you have. I want to hear it.
Yep, I like that.
And the other thing is there's also Tex-Mex music. There's a lot of Spanish country out there. I was talking to a singer who was at the memorial yesterday who hasn't put their videos in there. They were thinking about doing this country round. And I was like, hey, remember when you used to sing this at my show? And they're like, I totally forgot about that. That's a great idea. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm hoping that they submit their videos of them singing it, because it is in Spanish and it's really fun and cool, but it is definitely country music. Like, not all Spanish music's country music, but I'm saying it's like that Tex-Mex Spanish music. So yeah.
Cool. I'm so stoked. Get your videos in. I've been singing a lot of country in these past couple of days, just to get in the spirit of it all. And the great part, and what we did not plan, this was not intentional, but it's just the way the scheduling happened for our production staff. Our country results show will be aired on the 4th of July. How fitting is that? We're gonna get real patriotic up in here, y'all. Okay. But yeah, don't forget to tune in next week for the round 5 results show. You're in for a treat. We have some incredible singers lined up for you. So you're not going to want to miss out on that. But yes, get those songs in. If you know the next, country star, get them in. Tell them, hey, get your songs into kwcusa.org. If you need any assistance with that, of course, we are always here to help you guys out, to answer any questions. But we love you guys so very, very much. Ian, I was so sad I didn't get to see you when I was out in Vegas, but more chances will come because we are going to be out there soon, permanently. So, yeah.
Permanently.
He's coming to Vegas.
Yeah. We're going to do a little, I don't know. We're going to venture out there for a move. And so, yeah, we're excited. So we're currently in the market to look at houses and stuff like that. So I'm excited because then that means I get to spend more time with my Ian and my Josh and some other KWC fam bam and just being there to help out in any way, shape, or form that I can. So we love you guys so very, very much. All of you guys who have been watching, those who are thinking about submitting, it's now or never. It's now or never. Just get it done. Again, if you need any assistance, our mentors are there. I'm available if you want to reach out to me. I can help guide you in what you need to do as far as AV is concerned, just to get good videos out and just to give you some assistance. So don't hesitate to ask. We just want to see your videos. We want to showcase you. You're the star of this show, not us. We're not the stars. We're the staff. We're in the background. We're what makes you look good. Okay, so
just trying to win the gold. All right.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Our champions out there. Mm-hmm. Our champions are out there.
They might already be in it. They might
already be in it. You just never know. So, and that person could be you. Oh, you're very, very welcome, Renee. We try to answer as many questions as possible. And I had talked to Josh and I said, I want this one to be focused more on non-AV things because we had talked about so many audio-visual things in our past Q&As. I wanted to focus on something different. So I'm glad that Ian jumped on because we're looking at it from a judge's perspective. And if anybody knows from last year, Ian was one of the toughest judges to please. I mean, but he was fair. He was always fair in his judging, but man, was he tough. So, I mean, yeah, Roberto, you're late.
And I didn't win a competition. So
I know, but no, I'm very, very glad because I think it was really good for these contestants to hear one of the judges actually tell them what he is looking for, how he is judging, because a lot of times, they're just faces and names and they don't know the judges and what kind of personalities they have. And if you meet Ian and Ian and I have had long chats, long chats. Ian is one of the most warm and compassionate individuals, but he is also very, very honest. And, even I had to get feedback from Ian, and even I was like, he's like, oh, I could, and I said, you need to be brutally honest with me. Like, I don't want that sugar-coated stuff. Like, I'm somebody that's like, no, give it to me straight. And he did, unapologetically, he gave it to me straight. And I said, okay, thank you. I needed that.
We are running on a 2-hour Q&A show.
You know what? They love it. So
much. I know. Thank you both so much for taking time out and doing this. We are going to actually have an AV only show coming up that I'm putting together And we're going to have links for you and everything, so you guys can go and find out better ways to make your video. But if you guys have something called YouTube, there's many different avenues online to see how other people do it. So when I was going to college, I didn't have that luxury of being able to record my audition and sending it to my universities that I was trying to get into. I had to go and fly all over, or hopefully they were going to come to me and then audition for them. A lot of those videos, there's a lot of how-to videos of how to nail an audition and how to get that audition with your university or even in Broadway, because right now Broadway is doing a lot of their auditions virtually. So, which is always weird, because I'm like, oh, it's sort of like how we had to switch from stage to video, because the movements that you think are big are now too big, and now you have to go small, but they still are going to get that sense if you're a performer or not. There's a lot of those videos on there. Go and look those up. Think about this in a different way. Don't think about this as just being a competition. Think about you're trying to become this professional singer who's doing auditions to get into professional performances, and everything from Broadway to concerts to, to singing groups. Those videos are out there on YouTube. Utilize those tools that you have. There's also ones about making videos on Smule and Yoki and how to do that. There are ones about just how to use the little USB mixer you might have bought, and you're like, I have no idea how to use that, or how to light your video better. So all that information's on there. Don't wait for us. Do it in your spare time. Do it while you're on the can, guys. Like, seriously. Like, there's a lot of times it's wasted. Look, you're in your bathroom. I know you have your phone in your bathroom, okay? But those are excellent times to go and look this stuff up. And so whenever I hear from someone that they don't have time, I'm like, they're also telling someone where I know that most of my friends know how much I work. So I'm like, you're telling me you don't have time. Yeah, I'm still making videos. I'm still going online. I know last week I went online, and Ian actually gave me some feedback, and I was not feeling good. And he was like, that was excellent. Oh my God, I love it. I'm like, really? Oh, so thank you, Ian, for giving me that, because it made me feel better. But I'm always singing, and part of the reason I'm always singing is because I always want to be fresh. So even if my singing's not good that day, look, your practices don't need to be good at all. But that's where you can practice your video or whatever, your song, and you're not perfecting it for that. You aren't going to send in that video, but you use that so you can go back and watch, like, ooh, my lighting could have been better. Oh, I missed this note, or my breathing. I keep breathing at the spot. That's when you start putting it all together. Think of this video that you're putting together as part of your performance. If you're working on your voice, you're going to keep working. I'm like, hey, I need to think about enunciation. I need to think about diction. I need to think about my dynamics. I need to think about how to go through my mixed voice and then go up to my head voice. So this is part of it. Don't give up just because of a little thing like the AV thing.
Yep.
So, but we're going to have a whole AV show just for you, but don't wait till that. Use your YouTube, use your Google, no excuses anymore. We're in 2021.
Yay!
So, thanks everybody. That was
Josh,
great.
if I can just throw out there, please.
Sure.
Miriam mentioned how the results show for the country round will be July 4th. And yes, if you've got a great Lee Greenwood in you, that'll sound great. But don't feel you've got to pick your song for the theme. Remember, the judges were scoring 2 weeks prior. And as much as I want to hear your Lee Greenwood and love that kind of thing, I also love your outlaw country. I want to hear your Dixie Chicks, right? What matters is bringing the right song. Don't think, hey, July 4th, I've got to have something that goes with that or is thematic to that. No, bring your best song, your best country song, whatever subgenre it is. Let's hear it. So I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
And
Yes.
there's also a lot of Elvis, by the way, a lot of Elvis country. He is a lot of number ones in country. There's so many people who have been there who people don't think about as country, who are maybe a rock singer. And if it's one of your favorites, think about things that they've done as well. So
yeah, just bring your
There's
best country, because it's going to be a great show either way.
Yeah.
And the I feel like the more of a mix that we have, the better, you know, the show will be, because we can showcase all avenues of country music, all subcategories, right? So, yeah, just bring your best stuff. Bring your best stuff. Bring your cowboy hats. Bring it all. Bring it all. You know, I want to see it all. And I know so does Ian. So thank you guys so much. We love you.
Yeah. Thank you too. I'm starting to play music in the background. Here we go. A little country music. How about that in the background? There you go. Yep. Thank you guys so much again for coming out and spending this time with us, and also helping these singers learn what to do as they go on to become the next karaoke world champ and on their journey to stardom. And I just want to wish you all a great night. Get those videos in. Do not miss this opportunity, and go online, figure out how to make better videos as well. It's all about your talent. So we can't wait to see this next result. Next week is the deadline, is the 20th to get the country round. 2 videos, new videos as of 2021. Do not send us videos that everybody and their brother have seen. They need to be new. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Thank you. We love you all.
Thank you. Bye.